Members, the question is that the motion be agreed to. Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It would be unkind to say of my fellow Te Aratu resident and colleague Alfred Ngaro that he's all preamble and no substance. So, Mr Speaker, I won't say that because that would be unkind, but I do have some unsolicited advice for the list member, Alfred Ngaro, that life is all about getting the ratios right. And whether you're making a hamburger or any other task in life, it's all about the ratios. So have a think about that, Alfred Ngaro. Not all members are lucky enough to have a bill drawn out of the ballot, and I'm sorry to have to rub this in for other members in the House that I've had 5 bills selected in the short time that I've been in this House, and it's hard work actually. It's hard work for a hard-working opposition to keep up with the flow of members' bills coming through. But this is such a listless, diffident, sort of do-nothing government that they have so few ideas of their own, Mr Speaker, that they actually they come to us for ideas for their members' bills.
So back to the bill.
And the member sponsoring this bill, Alfred Ngaro, has acknowledged in the House that this bill actually was inspired by work that I did in my first term at Parliament here. And the Western Leader, which is a great newspaper that serves our community in West Auckland, reported me in May 2011 calling for a law change to prevent people serving on more than one local board. I rest my case. This is an issue it's a problem that's worth fixing. And I always think of this bill as being the Warren Flaunty bill. Mr Flaunty lives in West Auckland. He's a very successful pharmacist, and at the time I made my statement to the Western Leader back in 2011, Mr Flaunty was serving on 5 local boards, 3 elected local boards that were part of Auckland City, plus the Licensing Trust Board and the local DHB. And as wise and effective as Mr Flaunty is in serving his community, many of us took the view, I think, that it wasn't really possible to do justice to 3 distinct, geographically contiguous local boards covering the best part of population of about 300,000 people, perhaps close to 400,000. And I think that was the genesis of this bill. There are some good reasons for it, and just to touch on them briefly, I think it's quite hard for someone representing 3 different local boards who inevitably will at times be competing for funding, who will be competing for different development projects and so on, hard to avoid potential or perceived conflicts of interest. I think also that there are real questions about when a position like being a member of the local board in Auckland, which is paid a salary of about $50,000, it's basically a reasonably substantive part-time job, and I know some people actually would put in the equivalent of full-time hours serving their communities in this position. Very hard for someone to actually put in that time as a really effective and hard-working local board member when you're on 3 elected local boards. They are, it's really important to remember, I think, different from an elected governance or corporate or governance board in the commercial arena, where you might attend the occasional board meeting, read papers, answer emails, but the time commitment falls far short of being a half-time or full-time position. So Labor is supporting this bill, the Local Government Auckland Council Amendment Bill number 3, and I wanted to just finally, sir, pay tribute to, in this election season, the fantastic people who are putting themselves forward to represent and serve our communities. People like Shane Henderson, Will Flavel, Paula Bold-Wilson, Tiaria Fletcher, Georgina Papa, Matt Gray, Brian Lythe, Mike Williams. Sir, these are fantastic people in the community that I represent. They are the Labor team for the Henderson Massey Local Board, and they will do a fantastic job for their community.
You're really pushing it there. Scott.